Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going way better than fantastic. And your journey to self-betterment is going way better than fantastic as well. First off, I want to say thank you to all of you for your many warm and loving comments. I appreciate you and your support. And I do hope you all made it through okay during this last holiday. Regardless if you celebrate it or not. Because like I mentioned, regardless if one celebrates these holidays or not, during this time of year, some people seem to have all of the closeness, while others are left twisting in the wind alone. And I want you to know, there are many out there that do have these close families full of love. But there are a great many as well that fake it. And such gatherings are full of pain and problems. But with that being said, unless you are extremely introverted, which some people indeed are, there is a great amount of people out there that still desire to love and to be loved. And this time of year can be a bummer and downer for many that don't have someone that loves them or someone to love in their life. And if that is you, I pray and hope you did something that made you feel good. No matter if it was sleep in an extra hour and then make your favorite breakfast and coffee, or if you took a walk in the park with your dog. I pray you did something that brought you some sort of joy and love in your life. Because as I mentioned before, God is with you and God is with all of us. He sees and He understands our pain. He knows all too well what it's like when someone puts conditions on loving back and when someone turns their back on them. Oftentimes people will only love God when they are getting something out of the deal, instead of loving and believing because of what is right and good. So He knows and He is with us. And speaking of comments, there was one comment asking about how to go about honoring a parent or an elder family member that is a narcissist, and how to do things correctly. Now, I do not have all of the answers here, but several years ago, I had such questions. And I found myself by accident watching some sermons of Derek Prince. Derek Prince is really good about explaining the unseen, demons, and evil behavior in humans. And in one of these sermons he talked about the very subject of honoring your parents. Even when it seems that demons or evil has a grip on their parents and their lives. The first thing I learned is forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean to let this person that is doing you wrong to keep on doing you wrong. Forgiveness is to not walk around with an anchor of hate in your heart for this person that has done you horribly wrong. Because you see, the devil wants to get to as many people as humanly possible. He wants to get to the narcissist. Who is the easiest to get to? He or she is the easiest to turn to evil. But the devil also wants to get to you, the victim of the narcissist, by filling your heart with evil and rage over what has happened to you. And in this your thinking and way of living will go out of line for what our Heavenly Father wants for you and your life. And if you are hearing God speak to you, and your heart becomes more and more difficult. And then the devil has a more clear pathway to take hold of you and your life. Just like they did with the narcissist. And it might be so subtle, you might not even notice it. Now this forgiveness step can be hard and difficult. And you might find yourself needing to go through this process several times. But it's needed so you can move forward in the life God wants you to live, and so you can clearly hear God and where He is directing you in your life. The second thing is honoring your narcissistic parent or parent has nothing to do with doing what they say. So please don't think you have to go around doing everything wrong thing your narcissist parent or parents tells you to do, in order to honor them. The third thing I learned is what honoring such a parent or parents looked like. And the example Derek Prince gave was moving far away from them and having very little contact with them as humanly possible, depending on the dynamics of your situation. Now think about many here in the narcissistic abuse community. It's very common to see many of these people, especially many of the content creators, to have moved large distances between themselves and their toxic family of origin. And there are many reasons why. One for me. And though I didn't move extremely far away, I was far away enough to not have to deal with their day-to-day lives for many years. But for me, I didn't want to have people looking at me funny shopping at the same stores my mother and golden child brother might shop at, and dealing with the people that knew them. I just didn't want any part of that. And I wanted to have a fair chance to attempt to move forward in life. And I didn't want these people sticking their toxic hands in my friendships and relationships. And that's another thing. Be careful who you tell if you are dating someone new. Even if it's a close friend of yourself. People can be strangely envious. So if it were me, unless I needed some serious help with something in regards to dating someone new, I would just keep it to myself. Until enough time has passed I might be able to mention it. Which is another topic for another video. But with that said, I didn't want my mother and brother trying to gain my trust back and meet or get to know anyone I knew. Because I knew the evil they were capable of. But then when you think about it, it's more than all of that. When you aren't close to these people, and you aren't talking to them much or in some cases at all, no drama is happening. No arguments. No toxic situations. And yes, one could and rightfully so should blame the narcissist. But since we know what this person is, why bring them into a situation where such drama will surely happen? And in our silence, and not dealing with them, and not living by them, we are honoring them. We aren't being a negative metaphoric fuel to the fire. We are just removing ourselves from the situation altogether. And in the cases where you might have limited or small amounts of contact or interactions, keep the interactions short and without much substance. Let them talk about stuff. Don't provide great detailed information about yourself. They don't need to know where you work. And again, I'm not much for you lying. But think about it this way. If an intruder came into your home and wanted to know where a loved one was at, would you say, "Oh, they are at so-and-so's house"? Or would you make something up? I think most people would make something up. There are many examples of this in the Bible. When many had to hide, because evil was looking for them. And the same is in the case with this example. You might say, "Oh, I'm working for my girlfriend's father. He has his own business." When in reality you might have a job doing something else. And the reason for telling them such a thing is because you know the narcissism that runs their brain might tell them to contact your work and start talking to your boss behind your back. Again, not sharing such information is honoring them. You aren't allowing them to create a mess in your life. And you aren't creating a mess in their life. And in that you aren't debating with them. Do not look for answers from someone consumed by evil. Don't do it. I made a video many years ago called Debating with a Demon that was popular. And I believe it was popular because of the truth of the matter. That talking to a narcissist or debating a narcissist is like debating a demon. And the only thing that will happen by you doing so is you will get nowhere, and it might even put you in harmful situations by doing so. So no matter how tempting it might be to tell them how much they hurt your life, or to try to get them to admit what they did to you, the only thing that will happen by attempting this is more pain and more narcissistic supply for the narcissist. You see, when I first created this channel, I was at a great limited contact with my narcissist mother. I maybe seen her in person maybe twice a year. Sometimes not even that. And I talked to her on the phone maybe once a month. Because even the beginning stages of understanding this narcissism thing I knew that dealing with her in a normal sense wasn't possible. And attempting to try would be foolish on my part. But when my mother became sick, and things began to go downhill, my involvement carefully grew. My mother was no longer a threat to me and my life. She was no longer mobile. She was unable to speak much. And for the most part she just laid there. There were I believe a couple of occasions where I forgot about the situation at hand and tried to talk to her about the things she did in order to get her to at least admit the truth to my golden child brother so he might have a better life. As I had and I still have no contact at all with him. Because my mother literally trained him to hate me. But in these couple of brief instances I caught myself and remembered where I was at and the situation that was really happening. And that if there was any part of her that wasn't a manipulator and a narcissist, that person went away a long time ago, likely when she was a young kid. You see, some of these narcissists are made. Some are born. And some are a combination of the two. But for those that are made, they likely somewhere along the line made a choice. And who they are or who they became superseded the person they once were. So much so that version of themselves has been locked away, never to come to the surface ever again. And trying to reach that person, if that person ever existed, is fruitless and pointless. I tried and tried as a child with my mother, begging her to not do the things she was doing. And the truth is, I might as well had been speaking to a brick wall. And remembering that. Not dwelling or hating regarding that. But remembering that is important. Talking about anything important with this person will only fuel their narcissism, and it will only make it harder for you to forgive them. So what I did is I still kept myself removed from many things. But I would visit my dying mother. And just sit by her bed. Watch television with her. And talk about things that didn't matter. I prayed for her. And I left it in God's hands. And in that I learned. Honoring has nothing to do with doing what your parents tell you to do. Because it might be evil driving what they are telling you to do. But what you want to do is avoid confrontation with these people. That's how you honor them. Think about it this way. If you know that your favorite place to eat is now overrun by gangs and crime, though you love the food so much, would it be wise to risk so much and such a confrontation for food you enjoy? And I know your narcissist parents or parent isn't your favorite restaurant. But ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? And even if something bad doesn't happen on your first time back dealing with them, dealing with a narcissist parent or parents, it's only a matter of time. And they actually like it that way. They love luring us back in, gaining our trust. Only so they can call the person we are now dating behind our backs at our workplace. And cause drama in our lives. Then we are back to yelling and being upset at them. And they can point the finger and say we are the evil one. The juice is not worth the squeeze. And in understanding this fact, you are honoring them. You are limiting the chances you will say things that are horrible in your anger and pain. And you are limiting chances where they can cause you anger and pain. And though everyone's situation is different, this very scenario is possible for all that deal with a narcissist parent or parents. The degrees may vary. But I think you know what I mean. So no contact and limited contact is possibly the way to go. And if you are limited contact, do not let someone say you are doing things wrong. Oh. If you don't go no contact, you are this and that and the other. Here's the thing. No contact isn't right for everyone. However, what might be better to suggest is to be careful. Be careful please, and remember what and who they are. They haven't changed and they likely will not change. And it's not your job to change them. But please be aware and careful what you say to this person. Not falling under their spell of trust and love, because they possess neither. And you might be careful of the amount of time you spend with them. Now, I do want to say there are instances where no contact is 100% warranted. If this person or people are direct physical threat to you and your life. If this person pushed you out of a treehouse when you were a kid, and you are lucky to still be here, this is a person I would never speak to again. And in that I would be honoring them, even if they were a parent. Can you pray for them? Yes. The Bible tells us to pray for our enemies. Might you say a last goodbye on their deathbed if you feel the need to do so? Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. And don't let anyone shame you for doing so. But either way, no matter if you go through such a thing or not, honoring them is not engaging them in their narcissism. To not engage in their evil. To not engage them in their back and forth and he said and she said. To talk to their flying monkeys. To say inside of yourself. Not to them. Because they don't need to know. But to say inside of yourself. I'm not going to be a part of this toxic dance again. Because the moment you leave that dance, guess who's going to be the scapegoat? That's right. Your golden child sibling. Or one of the flying monkeys. Oh yes. They will start to turn on one another. And all you did was just move forward with your life. And also in doing that you are honoring them. Because regardless if they are a terrible parent or not, having the best life you can is honoring your parent. Even if your parent or parents are terrible people. And you live several states away. Or in another country or province. People will believe you were raised right and correctly. Because you carry yourself with lots of self-love, decency and class. And though your parent or parents don't deserve this, you are honoring them by showing those you interact with that you are a loving, caring human being. I hope this answer helps you. Again, I thank you for the comment and question. Please keep them coming. Well, I do think this is a great place to stop. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.